children, how are you all? I hope all of you doing well. In the previous class, we have discussed about South America, continent of South America, and we have already completed two physical features of South America. Which are they? Eastern Highlands and the Andes. Today, we are going to learn about two other physical features of South America, that is coastal plains and the central plains. Listen carefully. Next feature, the central plain. If the name indicates, it is located between the Andes Mountains and Eastern Highlands. Okay, the central plains. You have already studied about plains. What is meant by a plain? It is a leveled surface with very gentle slope. Okay, so in South America, plains also there. These plains are located between the Andes and the Eastern Highlands. It is known as the Central Plains. The Central Plains is also consist of a large river basin. Okay, you have already studied how plains are formed. How? Due to the action of river. Okay, so the central plain also consists of large river basin between the Andes and the Eastern Highlands. Through this region, one important river flows through, that is the river Amazon. The largest basin is that of the Amazon, okay, which rises in the Andes and flows to the Atlantic Ocean over a distance of about 6,400 kilometers. That is the area covered by the Amazon River, that is about 6,400 kilometers. It rises from the Andes. The river Amazon rises from the Andes and it flows to the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, its total area, that is 6,400 kilometers. And it is navigable for about 3,700 kilometers from its mouth. Okay, its total area, that is total length, that is 6,400 kilometers, but it is navigable for only 3,700 kilometers. Navigable means it only used for transportation facilities, only about 3,700 kilometers. The river Amazon is the largest river in the world in terms of volume of water carried. Okay, in terms of the volume of water carried, Amazon is the largest river. Do you know which is the longest river in the world? Yes, river Nile. Okay, in terms of water, Amazon is the largest river. And this river is very wide and deep. Plain, we have already know that it is suitable for agricultural activities. Now, we are going to discuss about some vegetation found in the central plain. First one, the Amazon basin has dense evergreen rainforest called tropical rainforest or selvas. Very important term, you have to study that. Okay, tropical rainforest in the Amazon basin is also called as selvas. Sometimes the question will come like, the Amazon basin has a dense evergreen rainforest called dash. So you have to write tropical rainforest or selvas. Okay, depending on the question, you have to write the answer. Okay, so please keep in mind that the Amazon basin has dense evergreen rainforest. Evergreen rainforest means evergreen forest. I hope you already studied about evergreen trees and deciduous trees. Correct. Evergreen trees means trees do not shed their leaves. Okay, that is evergreen. Or throughout the year, greenish. Okay, greenish in color. That is evergreen rainforest. And but in the case of deciduous, what happened? The trees shed their leaves. Okay, so that is the difference between evergreen and deciduous. Here, evergreen rainforest means throughout the year, the forest full in greenish color. There is no deciduous trees. Got it? Now we can look at the features of Amazon basin. In your textbook, it is already written there. As the climate of the Amazon basin is hot, humid and very wet throughout the year. Okay, the climate of Amazon basin is hot, humid and very wet throughout the year. These forests have several layers of vegetation. Different types of trees, plants are found in this basin. Here, thousands of species of trees like silk, cotton, wild rubber, palms, and hardwoods grow so thickly that almost no sunlight reaches the ground because it grows like a canopy, like a roof. So it doesn't allow the sunlight to reach the land. Okay, so that much thickly it grows. The trees are growing thickly. Shade tolerant mosses and ferns grow on the tame ground and on the trunks and branches of trees. Thick woody vines are called lianas, climb up tall trees. Okay, in the Amazon basin, some vines, that is, some climbers also there, that is called lianas. Okay, so these are about the vegetation in the Amazon basin. The Amazon basin has a dense evergreen forest called tropical rainforest, and it also has a different layers of vegetation. That means different types of trees, plants are there. The trees are grow so thickly. That's why the sunlight doesn't reach the ground. Okay, the trees are grow so thickly, so that's why sunlight doesn't reach the ground. And some climbers also there in the Amazon basin. These climbers, that woody vines, are called lianas. Got it? Next, we are going to discuss about the Orinoco basin. The river Orinoco is also rises from the Andes. Okay, the Orinoco basin has tropical grassland called llanos. Tropical grassland. Here, you already noticed that grassland. That means short trees are found there. Okay, short trees and grasses. That's why it is called as grassland. And the Amazon basin, rainforest, evergreen rainforest are there. But in the case of Orinoco River basin, only grassland. This grassland is called llanos. Okay, in the northern part of South America, the basin of Orinoco located. It is originates in the Andes and flows into the Atlantic Ocean. The same of Amazon basin rises from the Andes and flows to the Atlantic Ocean. The Orinoco basin is separated from the Amazon basin by the Guyana Highlands. We have already discussed about Guyana Highlands. Okay, so the Orinoco basin is separated from the Amazon basin by the Guyana Highlands. The Orinoco basin, which has a drier climate than the Amazon basin. Amazon basin we have already discussed. It is very hot, humid and wet. But in the Orinoco basin, it is a drier climate. Drier climate. That's why the trees are very short in height. Okay. Next one, grasslands are found between the Amazon basin and the Brazilian highlands called cambos. Okay, the Orinoco River basin has tropical grassland called llanos. The grasslands are found between the Amazon basin and the Brazilian highlands. It's called cambos. I hope you understood the difference between the llanos and cambos. Okay, the river Orinoco basin, tropical grassland called llanos. Here, the Amazon between the Amazon basin and the Brazilian highland called cambos. Got it? And next one, to the southwest of Brazilian highlands, Parana Uruguay basin found. Okay, Parana and Uruguay, these are the two important rivers of South America. Okay, to the southwest of Brazilian highland, Parana Uruguay basin found. This basin is formed by the rivers Parana, Paraguay and Uruguay. Okay, so these three rivers join together and form Parana-Uruguay basin. The Paraguay is the Parana's main tributary. I hope you already know about what is meant by tributary. Okay, Paraguay is the Parana's main tributary. Okay, so Parana river join into the Paranas river. The waters of these three rivers empty into an expanse water called Rio de la Plata, which means river of silver. Okay, so these three rivers empty into an expanse of water called Rio de la Plata. All three rivers flow into an empty reservoir is called Rio de la Plata. It is also called as River of Silver. Okay, the next one, the western part of the Parana-Uruguay basin is called Gran Chaco. Okay, the western part of Parana-Uruguay basin is called Gran Chaco. And the next one is, the last one is, to the south and east of Gran Chaco, there are temperate grasslands called the Pampas. Temperate grasslands means these grasslands are characterized as having grasses as the dominant vegetation. That means trees and large shrubs are absent here. Okay, only grasses are found in temperate grassland. Okay, so to the south and east of Gran Chaco, temperate grasslands are found. These grasslands are called pampas. I hope it's clear. So, these are the important facts of the central plain. We can go through these points once again. The first one, this central plain consists of large river basins between the Andes and the Eastern Highland. And the second part, the Amazon is the largest river flows through this basin. It distance about 6,400 kilometers. And next important point, that is, the Amazon basin has dense evergreen rainforest called tropical rainforest or selvas. Okay, so Amazon basin has dense evergreen forest called tropical rainforest or selvas. And next one, the Orinoco basin. Okay, the Orinoco basin is separated from the Amazon basin by Guyana Highland. So the Orinoco basin has tropical grasslands. In tropical grassland, short trees are there. Okay, so this vegetation is called llanos. Next one, grasslands are found between the Amazon basin and the Brazilian highland called Cambos. It's also tropical grassland found between the Amazon basin and the Brazilian highland. Next one, to the southwest of Brazilian highland, Parana, Uruguay basin found. Okay, so these basin also consists of three important rivers, that is Parana, Paraguay and Uruguay. These three rivers empty into an expanse of water called the Rio de la Plata. And next one, the western part of Parana Uruguay basin. Here is one more important place is the, that is Gran Chaco. Okay, Gran Chaco. To the south and east of Gran Chaco, there are temperate grasslands. That means only grasses are found there. Temperate grasslands are there. It is called the Pampas. Got it. So these are the important points of the central plains. You have to copy down in your notebook and study well. Next physical feature of South America is the coastal plain. You have already studied how coastal plains are formed, isn't it? Do you remember what is meant by coastal plain? Along the sea, plains are formed is called coastal plains. Okay, in South America also, coastal plains are there. The coastal plains along the Pacific Ocean are very narrow or almost absent because of the steep slope on the western side of the Andes. Okay, along the Pacific Ocean, the coastal plains are very narrow due to the presence of the mountain Andes. So, narrow coastal plains are found in central Chile, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia. Okay, next point. Along the Pacific coast of southern Peru and northern Chile is a very dry region known as the Atacama Desert. Okay, along the Pacific coast of southern Peru and northern Chile, Atacama Desert found. Okay, Atacama Desert is found between the southern Peru and northern Chile. Peru and Chile are the important countries of South America. Next one, in the north and the east of the continent, that means in the north and the east of South America, the coastal plains are wider, especially near the river deltas to the north of Guyana Highlands and to the northeast and the south of Brazilian Highlands. Okay, so in the north and east of South America, the coastal plains are wider with the presence of Guyana Highlands and Brazilian Highlands. Okay, so these are the important points of coastal plains. Okay, once again, we can go through these important points. The first one, along the Pacific Ocean, the coastal plains are very narrow. And along the Pacific coast, southern Peru and northern Chile is a very dry region known as the Atacama Desert. Next one, in the north and east of the continent, that means in the north and east of South America, the coastal plains are wider. Okay, in this region, Brazilian Highland and Guyana Highlands located. And the last point is narrow coastal plains are found in patches in central Chile, Peru, Ecuador and Colombia. Okay, here narrow coastlines are found along the Andes mountain range. Okay, narrow coastal plains along the Andes mountain range and the plains are wider along the Guyana Highland and Brazilian Highland. I hope it's clear. Okay. Yes.
From its northern shores to its southern tip, South America is the fourth largest continent, and more than 300 million people call it home. Most of these people live in urban areas. Outside of the cities, there are huge areas of land in which very few people live. South America spans diverse climate zones, vegetation regions, and topography. The people, plants, and animals here have adapted to environments of extreme variation. Running the length of the continent's west coast, the Andes soar to 20,000 feet in some places. They separate the coast from the rolling plains to the east. The Native Americans living in the Andes raise llamas and alpacas, whose wool keeps them warm in the high mountains. They weave the wool into blankets and rugs that are used not only by the local people, but are shipped all over the world. Most of South America is in the southern hemisphere below the equator. South of the equator, summer stretches from late December to late March, and winter from late June to late September, just the opposite of the seasons in the northern hemisphere. In South America, you'll find a wide variety of climate zones, from tropical to Arctic. Tropical climates are hot and wet. The Amazon rainforest, the world's largest rainforest, is in a tropical climate. This huge rainforest spans the equator, running through much of the northern third of South America. At its center is the Amazon River Basin. The temperature in this area averages about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't forget your umbrella. It rains here nearly every day. Second in length only to the Nile in Africa, the Amazon flows 4,000 miles from Peru through Brazil. Its extensive system of tributaries carries more water than any other river and drains an area that is more than 2 million square miles. It is home to astonishing varieties of fish, including the deadly piranha. It also provides the only access to the interior of the dense rainforest. The Kayapo Indians live near the Amazon River in Brazil. This dance celebrates the abundance of manioc, a starchy plant that is a staple in their diet. Manioc thrives in the warm, wet climate of this area. Dry climates, like the Atacama Desert of Chile, are hot and arid. They receive little rainfall. Because weather systems move from east to west here, the Andes block rain from reaching this region. Little vegetation grows in the Atacama, but the land is rich with mineral deposits. Copper mines dot the landscape and are Chile's most valuable natural resource. Humid subtropical climates have hot, wet summers and cool winters. The grasslands of Argentina and Paraguay, called the Pampas, have a humid subtropical climate. This area is ideal for growing crops like wheat and soybeans and for raising cattle. South America's geography ranges from cold, high mountains to wet tropical areas to wide, grass-covered plains. The people who live in these areas have adapted to the climate and the topography. They have also learned to use the resources of their environment, from wool for blankets to copper for export, to make a living.
Yes, today we have discussed about two important physical features of South America, the central plain and the coastal plain. In the central plain, you have already studied that some important vegetation. The first one is selvas, tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforests are called as selvas. And next one is tropical grasslands. In the Amazon basin, it is called as llanos. And in the Brazilian highlands, it's called as campos. Okay, so these all about tropical grassland. So our lesson is completed. I hope all of you understood the lesson. Lesson 7, Study of Continents, South America. Okay, please read the textbook very well. Okay, I already told in the live sessions also, you have to read the textbook well. Okay, don't depend backside question answers only. You have to read the textbook well. Okay, all the very best. Thank you.